Hey guys, how's it going? I was at an estate sale this past weekend, and that's where we are now. I grabbed a couple of things. I asked them if they had any power equipment around, and they said there was something was parked in between here. And see, on the other side of that, there's an old tractor, but it does not run. You're welcome to it if you want it. So I came back with my trailer, and I'm gonna go drag it up. Hopefully. So we should possibly be able to recover it and bring it back to life. If not, we'll figure out why it doesn't run and possibly if we could fix it. It's a decent machine. It is a Craftsman. It looks like mid-80s to be my guess, judging by the color and the shape and the size of it. It's what would be called like a GT or a garden tractor, which is heavier than a lawn tractor. If those wheel weights are off, it's got like 5 lug wheels on it, and it's just more beefy. It's one that you could do. You can put a snowblower or a plow on it and actually kind of work it because it will handle it. Got wheel weights on the back. Looks like it's got a manual 3-point hitch. I think it's manual. 3-point hitch on the back. I don't know what would have been on there. Looks like they dragged out a lawnmower. If I want to take that, I guess that's a part of the deal too. They've long since been gone. The property I think goes up for sale next week as is. It's kind of a cool place. Had like 25 rooms in it. Hydrostatic drive, 50-inch mower deck, it looks like it says, 25 horse V-twin. It also, let's go open the hood. It's missing an ignition switch. 25 horse. There's a bee's nest in it. Yeah, they're flying around. They're not happy. Look like wasps. Yeah. They bite you just for spite. You don't even have to piss them off. Hang back a little. Looks like it's pretty dirty. Looks like they were mowing probably in a sandy area, kicked all that dirt up. Looks like it's got an oil leak too. The bottom of it's all kind of soaked. I don't know why it doesn't run, what the issue was. Did it blow up? Does it, you know, just from sitting and it hasn't been used and it has an issue? Don't know the answer to that, and they didn't know the answer to it neither. It looks like it's been sitting here probably for a couple of years is my guess. And out in the weather, you see how weathered the seat is. The foam is rotted, the plastic's rotted away, and then the foam has changed color. So it's definitely been out here for quite a while. Got electric PTO set up. How many hours are on? It's got an hour meter. 765. For in a gas engine, that's probably about half its life. Gas engines, 1,500 hours if they've been taken care of, is generally what you can kind of get out of them, depending on which one it is. All right, I think we should not kind of go screw with those bees because they know that they're going to get me. I brought my trailer that squats down to the ground, so we'll back that one up and we'll just kind of drag it on with the winch maybe and bring it back to the office. Hopefully the ride home will kind of blow some of the bees away and we won't have to deal with that. All right, let's get set up, get that on the trailer, and get out of here. And over here's the mower deck. Looks pretty decent. I see a blade hanging in the woods, in the bushes right there. Looks pretty complete. By now when we flip it over, and then over there in the grass is the plow blade for it. We'll grab that and put it on the truck too. Let's go flip this thing up on its side and see what's underneath it. Let's see. Let's grab it by someplace our hands are out of the way. There is one blade on. Looks like it's spun, a couple of them. That one looks like it's spun in the center. The spindle's blown out on it. We'll look at that closer later on. But the metal looks pretty good. I don't see any rot holes through it yet. Let's drag that over to the trailer. Yeah, it's a cool old house. All grown, you know, the trees and everything are growing up around. Looks like they put a roof on it at one point. And they dragged this plow blade out from somewhere. I actually was sitting right there, huh? Yeah, you can see it sitting for a long time. It's had some use to it. The shoes are wore off. And that goes on the front. Again, I still don't know what would have went on the back of that machine. I'll take a quick look around, but maybe like a York rake or something was back there. She's got some girth to her. I think we're getting out of here just in time. Some dark clouds are rolling in. And I got the hood strapped down so it doesn't blow backwards and rip itself right off in the wind, but hopefully it takes some of the bees out of there. Wire nuts, is that a bad sign? What we're in for? Alright guys, let's get her back to the shop, see what we got, and hopefully we can save it. If not, we'll figure out what it died for. It kind of left screaming and kicking. Bees. I was gonna go look at the mower, but they're after me. We're out. I already saw one fly out. Where'd they go? Yeah, not much left. Nobody? Well, I spared you the trouble of trying to get it up on the lift, as the tires do not roll in the back. The transmission disconnect doesn't work, and there's this. If you noticed it when we're pulling it on the trailer. Yeah. They're not connected. So it fought me a little bit. We got it up on there. All right, let's start going and doing the assessment. Yeah, I try to go from large components to smaller ones because they're least cost prohibitive of trying to put something together. So basically we're going to try to see if the engine's good, transmission, differential, drive system is good. Then we start getting into smaller things, wheels and charging system and that kind of right on down the line. So let's go. Generally I like to start with the engine. That's probably the most value for it. The bees should be out of it. I sprayed them, got rid of them. I can get rid of that. Then go move. Let's go get you in a stand. We'll go see what it's got for oil in it and start seeing if we can, first if it turns a little. That's a good sign. It looks clean. Let's go to the full. It's a good sign. Let's go grab a test light. Just go across the battery real quick and see if there's anything in it. My guess is no, but you never know. No way. I was not expecting that. All right. Let's go and lock the brake pedal down. We'll try turning that key switch, see if anything spins. My guess is it had wiring issues at some point, again, with them being on there. No kidding. It sounds a little farty, like a head gasket. It's already surprising me. I did not expect that at all. Let's go see what's got for gas in the tank. Sometimes they have a little window on it. You can see how much fuel is in it. Let's see in there. Oh, it would be in the center of it. There's actually supposed to be a gas gauge in the center of that, and that's the float to show you how much. I definitely think it's grown over a little bit. The tank is bone dry, which is either got broken fuel line or they ran it out. It'd be funny if that's why it doesn't run, huh? Yeah, there's nothing in there. I can see. Let's pop the air cleaner off. We'll dribble a little bit of gas down it, see what it does. The hood should be able to come off of there. I think if it's one of the ones you pivot in a certain location, you already have the headlights unplugged. Sometimes on these, yeah, there you go. That makes it easier. Had I known that, I would have taken it off there. Now let's get to that air cleaner. It's had some rodents in it chewing on the side over here. So it's had mice or chipmunk or something trying to get in the air cleaner. Yum, 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 yum. Let's go shoot a bit of fuel in there. We'll crank it again, see if she'll cough over. Back you up a little bit, get a little eyewitness on it. It's gonna run out the front. Let's give her. Oh, baby. That is going to make things a little on the easier side. I don't know, you want to just put fuel in the tank? Let's go put it up in the air. We'll look at the fuel lines, make sure there's not like one chewed off of it or rotted off. We'll look into that steering wheel quick and we'll just do like an underneath assessment. Let's see what we got. Looks like this one has a external oil cooler too. There's the oil filter and it's got lines running up to an external side. And I see some weeds and stuff. I don't see any mouse nests in the plug hole right off the bat. A lot of times mice will get into the tins. Someone's got some kind of makeshift bolt for the front end and the pivot there. That's not the factory setup. And what do we got for steering? I do not see a steering rod at all coming out of the center and going to the wheels. I might be missing something altogether. Looks like it'd be a rod that went right there from the steering rod, probably to like one of the side, goes from there to the wheel. It's missing altogether, and I'll explain that. The belts actually look like they were run not that long ago. I don't see a ton of rust on those pulleys. Alright, so we're missing. Let's spin that wheel. Let's grab it right here, yeah. It feels like it's bent on an angle. Possibly. Yeah, it does look a little twisted, doesn't it? Maybe, maybe not. And the drive belt to the rear looks like it is there. It's running, it's got, well, I got the pedal locked down to the hydro. A little wet around the clutch. Looks like something, either it's leaking up top and running down and around. That's what all this cakiness is here. It's been doing that for a while. And again, it's got an electric clutch that you engage and disengage. Essentially, it's a big magnet that's inside here. When you pull that switch up there, and it gets it to lock in. I don't know if it lost the front end bolt at some point. Again, that's not what's supposed to be in there. Let's see what's hanging out of the front. Yeah, somebody put some washers and some bolt. It must have fell out and they lost it. What else we got? Heavy front end, big cast iron beam in the front. If this was a standard trans, I'd make a like a yard doohickey out of it. We went, it's like somebody put a new starter in it. Newer starter. It's cleaner than the rest of it. We got our mouse nests in there. I'm looking in these tins right here. Generally it would show. Good pressure washing. We definitely do it. Seemed like it was rattling around too. Yeah, the muffler's loose. There's nothing clamped. You think that's an add-on? Think somebody put that there? Yeah, I do too. Looks cool though. Kind of looks like it's made for it though, the way it's wrapped around the spark plug. Yeah. Because that's the muffler down there. This is, looks like another muffler. I don't know. And we wanted to take a peek at that fuel tank, right? See what we got going on. If you could see any fuel line. I wanted, it just ran out of fuel. Why they said it didn't work anymore? Or would you think that the front steering is what broke? There's a fuel line right there. It looks pretty dry. I say we put a little bit of gas in it and see what we get. See if we can crank it through. And see if it stays running. Then we'll check into the transmission. It looks a little wet right there. Let's go clean off. Well, there's fuel in the fuel filter. I put some gas in the tank. We probably should have looked ahead of time and see if that filled that up. Let's prime it again. We'll fire it up, see if it stays running. That tank's pretty high, so it may have gravity fed and filled that bowl up. I don't think there was anything in it. We'll see. What time? We're running off the carb. Yeah, we're sucking fuel through now. I don't know if the electric PTO will work. A lot of times it'll shut it. It won't function if the seat safety's working. I don't know if it's plugged in. It's still plugged in. Whether it works or not, I don't know. Let's see what we get. Not smoking terribly. Yeah, so the seat safety is probably working, but I did hear it click in. Yeah. So electric PTO is working. Should fire up again. The next thing I want to do is check the transmission, see how that is functioning. If that's good, then we know there's, you know, a decent amount of the drivetrain is working. I'm not going to be able to check it as far as putting a load on it, but as long as it spins the wheels, we know we're close to it. What they have is a lockout on the back. You can see it here. If you want to push the tractor, you would push the pin in and then put a locking key in it. I do not even see the hole for where the pin goes. It's right there, so it's missing. So that would be so you can roll it back and forth, and then on the other way, it's just letting it pull out, would be using it as a tractor. And it's in the out position now, so if we fire it up and we move the shifter, the wheels should spin back and forward. Let's get a jack underneath it, get the ass end up. All right, you only get one tire off the ground. It's not a lock differential, so as long as one tire's up in the air, it should be okay. Brake's still on. I gotta bypass the seat safety. It is not letting me do what I want to do. I might have to jump that, I'm not sure yet. Let's go see what we got. Transmission system's okay. You had to bypass the seat safety. And some of them, you either have to, you know, they're normally open or normally closed. That one you just end up unplugging, and it makes it think that somebody's sitting on the seat. Whoever had this tractor was definitely short. That seat is all the way forward. It's got 4 fingers between the dash. He wasn't very tall. All right, so we need some way. Where's that coming from? That might have been me just taking the dipstick out. We need some way to make it steer. Plus, what do we have? Do we have all the parts for the plow set up, which I think would mount to here? And then that's what this rod is for, is the hand control that was hanging on the side of it. Mower deck. Again, the belt would go to here. I think it might hang off these same locations. And then these 2 pivots, and there would be a crossbar going across. Whether we have all the parts for that, I do not know. And plus that mower deck is out of whack. So we need a way to steer it. I don't know if I have any parts tractors at the house to go steal one from. If not, maybe we can kind of make one for now. So it has to go from that location there to wherever that rack was. That nub that was hanging down when we were turning the wheel. Oh, it's right there. And right to that. And is that bolted on? Yeah. So we might be able to... I'm going to go put the steering wheel in the middle position and the tires straight ahead. We're going to take a tape measure. We'll measure the distance between those two. Maybe we can come up with like a con rod or something for now. Let's just see what we got. I got them both where they should be. The problem is too, I don't know if the original rod, a lot of times they have it like a bend in them to clear certain things. You might be able to Google it. You know, instead of being a straight line, it may not be that. So it is 24 inches in a straight line. And I already see a problem is that it would normally hit this, right? So it can't be that. I mean, we could take that off if we have to for now. I'm gonna try, see if I can look up the rod, see if maybe we can copy it. Affectionately known as a drag link. So it's there. You can go get them, like, you know, 25 bucks, 26 bucks. I don't believe that one. A couple of different styles too, so I'm not sure which one's going to be the correct one. Let me go look and see what I can go dig up. You know, time's of the essence. I don't want to wait too long. I want to try to keep moving with the project, not wait a week for the parts to come in. Let's see what we can find. Off to the land of steel. I believe I have something with like tie rod, kind of solid rod. You know, it's got like rod ends. Where would they be? They might even not even be in this area. They're rod ends, not with a post sticking out of them, but just a hole in the middle. There's a somewhere. I'm gonna keep hunting. I'll bring you back when I find them. I knew if I looked around hard enough, I'd find something. And that one right on top there. Get on there. Got one on the other end? No. We got half. We got that side. We could weld something together. We just need... These are all aluminum. Aluminum's not going to bend for it. Very easy for us. So we got the rod ends though. We could always use steel, right? Let's go grab those. I think this was a U-Dizzy stash. He hooked me up. Oh. I was looking for these. Awesome. That's good. That is for another project I've been looking for parts for. We just found it. Okay, let's grab a couple of rod ends. We'll bring them down. Pick away. See what we can put together. Here's a long one right here. How about we do a little backyard, graveyard, jungle shopping. Possibly that one right there, but there's a bigger Craftsman. Almost the same thing though, huh? I would say either that one, which is pretty close to the chassis size. This one looks like it might be the smaller of the two, but I brought a tape measure. Snakes don't get us. So it will be that rod. Oh, maybe. Let's go dig our way back, see if we can flip this thing on its side maybe. We'll take a peek at it. Worst case, if it's off a little, we could probably maybe heat it and bend it straight. Yeah, I think that one's much shorter. Yeah, it's like 16. I bet you if we heat it up and get those bends out of there, we can use it. So keep that one in mind. Let's go check the other one. That one looks like it's gonna suck to get out of there. After all that, I hope it's the right one. The mower deck totally gone on this one. That looks more like it, huh? And it goes to the same location in the front. And I don't know about getting to that. I have to drop that mower deck to get to the other end of it. But it's right. Yeah, that looks more like it. I think we'll work with that one. Worst case, we'll cut it down. Plus, I think the diameter is a little bit fatter on it. So let's go get this mower deck at least halfway dropped down and hopefully get that thing unbolted out of there. And about a gallon of sweat later, I think we have our prize. That looks about 24 inches long, wouldn't you say? Only problem is, somewhere in there, I dropped that nut. I gotta look real quick, but if not, we'll have to go in the stash. I don't want to try to dig in there anymore. If I had a little magnet, I could wiggle it around in there, I'm sure pick it up. But it's in the leaves and crud. Well, I couldn't find it down under there, but that one fits. So I stole that one. Let's see how close I came. Yeah, I stand that one straight up. 24 and a half. Ooh, it ain't close. All right, let's go clean these threads up. That's probably where it failed the first time. Probably the ball ripped right out of the socket. There you go. Well, I threw that bar back on there for the steering. And it steers. The only problem is how much that front beam slides back and forth before it turns the tire. It does turn it. But it's good enough to at least drive it around. Hopefully I'm going to throw some air in the tires and try and drive it outside. We'll check the transmission out and under a load and hit it with a pressure washer and knock some of the crap off of it. Give them a water too, we'll see if they can hold when we pressure wash it. See how she fires back up. Hopefully. smells gas. Gonna let it dry out a little bit. Let's grab the plow blade and drag it underneath it and see if the pieces are there that we need. Yeah. How would you lift it? My guess is that's where it locks in, because you got to have room for the blade to be able to swing and clear the tires. This should go something like that. Try to balance it. That would go something like that. That would pull the pin and allow it to rotate. The lift and lower, I would think, would be the regular part of the mower deck. Whatever lifts and lowers. The mower deck would lift and lower that. Would go on that pin right there, whatever it would be. And I see a bar right there. Hope I'm not getting you dizzy. Does this even move? Yeah. So those two, it's only got one side, the other side's flush. Yeah, I think we're missing something as far as lifting and lowering that. I'm sure we can look it up to figure it out, but it looks fairly complete. I'm guessing that's where it goes, on those locating pins right there. I'll probably have a washer or a plate, something to keep it from popping off of there. I'll let that dry out a little bit, hopefully it'll fire up. I might drag a battery charger out here to top that battery off. That battery charger on it. Alright, now let it cool down. I could get an air hose out here and just blow it all off, but this is more fun. About 15 minutes later, enough to cool down. Try it again. We'll let it run for a little while out here, let it like warm up and dry out. Thought something was kind of wrong with the motor mount, how it's mounted. It's on rubber bushings, that's why it shakes around a little bit. A lot of times it's just bolted solid to a frame. This one's mounted on little rubber pads on it, so it allows it to take some shake out of it. I also on the muffler too, I think somebody put that muffler on there like it's an add-on, just to maybe make it a little bit quieter. Duct tape around the front end. I wonder if that rotted and kept popping off the front and they just taped it up out of the way. Looks a little cleaner. At least we can see what we're doing. No battery hold down. Alright, let's go put her back in to the garage and bring her up on the lift and do a little shopping list of some things that we want to try to get now that we know that the engine and transmission seem like they're pretty good.
That was easier than the first time around, I'll tell you.
Alright, let's go give ourselves a little rundown or shopping list of things that need to be addressed that we know. Alright, the pivot in the center, that bolt's kind of weird and it's got a lot of play in that front axle. I don't know if we have to go maybe put a washer to the inside or just maybe bolt it up tighter where it kind of crushes down on that. The ignition switch is out. It's not in its location, does not have the hardware to bolt it into place, neither whatever that nut would be on there. Battery is just flopping in the breeze. That muffler's kind of flapping. I don't know if that's really an issue or not. Needs a seat. We are missing the center for the steering wheel. One of the wheel weights has just one bolt holding it. I think it's the one on the other side. The lift arm does not seem to be functioning correctly. And you can't turn it down. I think it might be just cranked all the way up. So this knob sets the height of when you let the lever down, how far the mower deck comes down. And this feels kind of strange, and I don't see that tab moving at all. Let's see if I can do it. There you go. Maybe it is working. See how far that drops. Yeah, it keeps working. But we'll get into that. 3-point hitch, I would think, works off that same lever that is on there, raise and lower that, but again, not quite sure. We'll have to go peek onto that. I don't know if we can bend this straight or if it even needs to be bent. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. But all the other ones I've seen have been straight out, so we may have to just kind of straighten that, lift that up to where it should be. Gas cap actually cleaned itself, huh? Supposed to be a gauge in there. Whether there's one in there or not, I don't know. Problem with that is too, is it lets water in with that crack that's in there, so I may just try to get a regular gas cap for it. Anything else you see? I'm sure all this stuff's going to pop up. Let's go look at the mower deck, see what that has to offer us. So it looks like, if you can see, there's like a raised star pattern on it. This one looks pretty good. This one hit something and it spun the nubs off. So this spindle, more than likely we'll have to replace it. Also, we don't know if the bolt hole is any good or not, neither. I wonder if we can, just for shits and giggles to see if it's possible, I wonder if we could take weld and build it back up again and put the blade on. Should look like that, you know. Let's let me put you in a stand. Let's go spin it a little bit and see what we got for bearings, if any of these are any good. Might have to lift it up off that. Let's go see. I probably have it touching. They actually feel pretty good. They're all turning. Usually when that stuff sits, they just go to crap. Let's get rid of that. Can you see? One of the pulleys is just plugged up with grass. All the idlers are turning. That one feels good. And it looks like it has the drive belt that goes to the tractor. I don't know if any of those are bent or not. I'm looking at that location right there. They seem to be about the same. We're missing the bolts. I do have the two blades that are missing. Okay, these are the other two blades. They actually look pretty good. I don't see much of a bend. The end's a little chewed up. That'll get cleaned up and sharpened. Generally what happens when a blade kind of wears, it'll wear inward here, and then this lift right here, that part will get all burned off and it'll just look like a flat blade going there. Especially if it's a sandy, rocky, gravelly. That'll really kind of take them out pretty good. I don't know if I'm concerned about trying to make it so that the plow works. I would never really use it for the plow. I don't need it. But I do have something else that I picked up that would go together with this Mower Deck assembly, but that's for another video. So I think maybe on this one we're going to go call it. I'm going to break the video up. A lot of them, they're starting to get to be like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make it, hopefully there's the 2 pieces on this. We can chase all the pieces that this needs to get fixed yet, all its issues that are still outstanding. Make it a functioning tractor. Plus we'll let it sit. We'll see if the tires still hold air. When I got it wet, I didn't see any bubbling around the beads or anything. I don't see any dry rot or anything on them. There's no cracking on any of the tires. So that's good. For having what's 800 hours on it, 750. The tread looks pretty good too. Must have always been used on dirt, maybe not too much on pavement. Alright guys, with having said that, we're gonna go chop this one up and we'll get the second half done when I start gathering some pieces. I probably should have looked at what I had at the house there. We may have the horn piece, the seat, that rotted mower deck may have a good spindle in it. We can kind of go steal out of it if they're the same, I'm not sure. And you know, whatever pieces we need to still figure out how to get the linkage up and running. But that's for another time. With this one guys, thanks for all hanging out with me, finding some free junk and trying to bring it back to life and save it. And we'll do it again soon. Till then, later.